I got my 96 Civic in here. When I bought the car, the passenger door lock didn't work. Now the driver's door lock doesn't work. I know what's going on with it. There's going to be some broken wires in the door. I'm going to get at those and fix them. I'm going to show you how to fix these. If you got any problems with any of your stuff in your door, your windows or your mirrors sometimes don't work, or your speakers. A lot of times you're going to have broken wires in the driver's door. One way to fix this is to take the door off. I'm not going to do that though. I'm going to take the front fender off, because after you get it off, it makes the job a little easier to do, I think. So I'm gonna show you how to fix these wires. I'm gonna take this inner fender off. Most of it's just Phillips screws, and there's a couple of plastic clips here and there. There was 4 screws here I just took off. Try to get these off without breaking them. You gotta pull out the centers. They're really brittle. I always break the dang thing. Almost never fails. When they break, you can just push the centers in to get these things out of here. Usually. Ooh. Oh gee. Gonna peel that back a little. Now that I peeled this fender back, there's a Phillips screw right here for the front bumper. Get that out of there. There's 2 10mm bolts for this fender. There's one here. And there's one up here. You can get that with a deep well socket. There. I got to get this panel off next. There's some little plastic Phillips screws in here. Got to unscrew these little plastic screws, and then that clip pops out. Then you can slide this forward. And it comes off. That's how you get them off without breaking these clips. Look at that corner. That's a nice rust-free thing of beauty for this state. It never happens. Totally, completely, perfectly solid. So hard to find a car this solid. The reason why I took that off is so I can get at these 2 10mm bolts. And I got 3 10mm bolts on top. Then if I open my door, I can't open my door all the way because it's on the hoist. It's kind of in a bad spot, but there's a 10mm right here you got to get out. You can get the door open all the way. It's a little easier to do. Thankfully, I don't have to worry too much about wrecking my crappy paint. There's a little pinhole right here too for this headlight. There's a little pin right there. You got to make sure that that goes in a pin. Try not to break it when you put it back in. That's how you take off a fender. Look at that corner. There's nothing there. No rust, no flaking, no anything. Man, this is a solid car. The paint's trash, but this is a nice solid car. Okay, now I can get at this real easy without taking the door off. And this way too, when I fix these wires, I'll be able to test everything before I bolt everything back up. There's a couple good reasons. A fender really isn't that hard to take off, so that's why I did it this way. There's a rubber boot on here. I should be able to peel back. I just peeled it back enough to get at this button right here. It's on the top. Push down on the top on the inside and it pops right out like magic. I didn't need to take that off. I didn't need to do that. Okay, I'm going to peel this back. I should see some broken wires in here somewhere. There's one that's coming open. Oh, yeah, there's a busted one right there. There should be more. Oh yeah, there's all kinds of them. That shit. More. There's another one. It's amazing this stuff worked. The only thing that didn't work was the power locks. And that in itself is really amazing because basically these wires were just touching. That's the only reason why they were working. Okay. I'm just pulling on all of these to make sure the rest of them are good. And they're in there. So all this dielectric grease or whatever it is, I'm going to get all that out. I'm going to disconnect my battery too since I'm in here. I should be able to pop this green thing off. You can see where it separates here. I think you just pull this open. Like that. And you can get this off of here. I'm going to clean this connector with compressed air and brake cleaner and stuff. There, that should be clean enough. Okay, now you got this little plastic thing right here. You got to pop this out. That kind of unlocks it a little bit. If you don't pull that back, you won't be able to get these tabs to move. Okay, now I got 5 of these pins to get out. This is the real fun part. There's a tool you can actually buy to get these out. Some people can use pins if they're special enough. I actually made a tool. I got like a, what is it, a 32 thousandths or 80 millimeter feeler gauge, and I cut it down, and I made it so it's sharp. It's got just one angle on it, and the back side's flat. And the reason why you pull this out, I already showed you that. You got to pull that out to get these pins out. Figure out which one you want to get out here. What I got this one here. I want it so the sharpened end is faced this way, and I stick it right up next to the connector, and I pull up, and then I got to push it through, and it's actually a really slick deal. You try to use a pin or something, and you're just gonna get pissed off. See, I pushed it through just enough to be able to pull this out. There, I got a connector. We got another one. There, I got them all. Went to a U-Pullet yard. I robbed this out of a 98 Integra. It's actually got a lot smaller wires and less of them. Whatever, I'm going to make this work. I suppose I could have looked for a Civic or something, but I'm just going to pull all of these out. Since I got a fancy tool and it's easy enough to do now. Anyways, you get the idea. Okay, I'm going to use shrink wrap, and I'm going to use, I don't like using solder. Solder's kind of bad. So I got little non-insulated pieces here. I actually kind of made these. And I got two of the biggest ones I could find for two big wires I got. This one's like a few gauges too small, but it's a really short wire, so it shouldn't really lose much resistance at all because it's so short. And I don't know, I didn't get the same exact colors because I didn't have them because I took these out of an Integra, but they'll work. I got them close. Trying to get the camera to focus on this so you can see. I'm going to push that thing in. See how that is? So that's why you gotta pull this out, because it just locks them right in. Okay, I got some wires cut. I'm gonna throw some shrink wrap up here. Put it up real far. These I actually butt up so they're both of the wires are touching together. I'm going to crimp it in a couple spots. Green, red to light green. You might wonder, hey, why don't I use solder? Because you're not supposed to. That's my answer. You never solder wires. Solder makes resistance and it causes heat, and if these wires actually do get hot from use, that solder can melt right off and then you got no connection anymore. You notice every single car, there's no soldered wires in anything. It's all crimped together. Only thing you put solder on is a circuit board. Seeing like these non-insulated terminals, a lot of times you get terminals and there's a slit in them. This is just, it's totally round, so you can crimp it really nice and they don't go anywhere. So some of the ones that are insulated, and even some of the non-insulated ones aren't like that. See, like this one, it's actually rolled, so there's a slit in it. I got to kind of get tricked with these a little bit. Yeah, that's a good solid connection. See that? I like that. Good stuff. That won't go anywhere. Get a little heat gun action after this. These don't want to shrink up all the way for whatever reason. So I'll just pinch them like that. Thanks to Honda Civic, I don't have to go to the library and look up the wiring on this, because there's a guy that put the wiring diagram on Honda Civic for me, so I can plug these into the right spots. There. It should be right. I'm going to plug it in. I'm going to make sure everything works. Because if it don't, I'll have something wrong, obviously. Okay, I plugged it in. Everything's working great. Which is great. I don't want this happening again. I tugged on all these wires really hard too. None of them came apart. So they're all really good, but some of them, they got some of the insulation is starting to crack. It's all right down on the bottom too. You know, it's down this far down, and below it's all kind of goofy. So I'm going to leave all that just the way it is, and I'm going to do the liquid tape. I'm pretty sure this isn't going to happen again, and if it does, I'm just going to go get another connector from a different car and just do it all over again. But I'm sure this is going to last a long time. I'm just doing this for insurance because I don't want the wires to move down on the connector side. So this should keep them from moving around, and it should help insulate the ones that are all goofy. I should actually hold it up like this too, so it doesn't run down into the connectors. It shouldn't though. This stuff's pretty thick. Maybe I'll just leave it sideways like that. That's plenty way thick enough. I'm just going to let that dry before I plug it back in. Yeah, one neat thing too, my windows roll up and down a lot faster now too. So if your windows roll up and down slow, it might be because your wires are partially broke. I better go ahead and put this green thing on too before it's too late. There. Those are stretched on. I don't know why they got this all full of silicone paste, but I'll put some on here. Dielectric grease. Sometimes this stuff traps moisture, so sometimes I don't like using it. This thing was coated with it from the factory, so I'm going to coat it just because that's what they do. I could have put some on the inside, but I got so much liquid tape on there, I don't think it'd do any good. Eighth of a turn, pop right out. The shiniest paint on the whole car is on the bottom. That's so unlike the rust belt. Since I'm too cheap to buy a new clip because I broke the top, you can take a 6x1mm bolt. This is like a stainless steel battery screw. And I'll just screw the thing in. Just like that. Good enough. Well, there it is. I got an old EK. It's rust free. It's never been in an accident. It's nice and straight, and everything on the car works. Isn't that amazing? Okay, bye.